Everything that you've ever known about nervous system regulation is completely wrong, and we are going to take what you think a healthy nervous system is and completely chuck it out the window. And in this video, I'm going to clarify what that actually looks like. So many of us are walking around thinking that a healthy nervous system state is a state that's in calm all the time, and that is not true. And it's such a dangerous belief for us to have because then we start to have these unrealistic expectations of ourselves. And every time we feel like we're not calm, we feel like we're doing something wrong. And that's why this mentality is so dangerous because as soon as you start to feel like there's something wrong with you and you start to hate yourself for how you show up, even though that's a perfectly normal response to whatever situation it is you're going through, that's when we fall into a dangerous zone, my friend. And that is not the zone that I want you to be in. And when you can be really clear on what a healthy nervous system looks like and what you want to aim for on a day to day basis, it's going to reduce so much pressure. So, truly, I want you to really watch this video until the end because this is going to reduce so much pressure on you. It's going to help you create really healthy, realistic expectations for yourself so you know what it is that you need to aim for on a day to day basis. And you're going to be so much happier, freer, lighter because of it. If you're new to this channel, my name is Dr. Bislaine Atlee. I'm a naturopathic doctor and I teach people how to reset and regulate their nervous system state. I have worked with thousands of patients in my practice. I've done so much nervous system regulation work in my own life. And truly, I believe that when our nervous system is regulated, that is how we can show up as our best selves. And most importantly, all it takes is just one regulated person to just have a ripple effect on everybody else in their life. And if you can be that person, if you can be that regulated person in your life, your friends are going to be better because of it. Your kids are going to be better because of it. Your partner, your parents, everybody and everything that you touch is going to be better because you are in a regulated state. Not because you need to be better or even the best version of yourself, just because you show up regulated. It's just such a different energy in terms of how you interact with everybody and everything around you. And the more of us that can be regulated and rise up to meet our regulated selves, the better I think the world is going to be. And that's really why I'm so passionate about this work that I do. First of all, I really want to start off by emphasizing that the goal is not to eliminate stress. Stress is great. It can be a really healthy thing for us. And stress is known to activate our fight or flight state in our body, which is a stress state, which everybody's just like, oh my God, it leads to diseases. It's so horrible, awful for us. That is not the issue. The issue isn't the stress. The issue is that we get stuck in the stress. And because we get stuck in the stress, we can't turn it off. We can't turn our fight or flight state off and get into the rest and digest state, which is our calm state. And that's where the problem stems from. The issue that a lot of us have is that we target the wrong thing. We try to eliminate all this stress in our life, which don't get me wrong is good, right? Like, don't have unnecessary stress in your life. Like, definitely eliminate the unnecessary stressors or extra stressors, but we're not out here trying to eliminate all stressors. We know that stress is good for our brain and our body. Like, it helps us be stronger. If you don't allow yourself to have healthy amounts of stress, like, you're never gonna be better, you're never gonna improve, and you're always gonna stay stagnant and be the same. And we don't want that. Okay, it might sound like that might be nice, but we don't want that. Stress is here to get us to improve, to get us to be a better version of ourselves. And I think it's beautiful when we can start to see it in that way. And of course, eliminate unnecessary stressors. But what's really important is that we focus on learning how to turn our stress response off, even if the stressor is still there. And that is the hard part for a lot of us. Right now, I have a patient in my practice, and she's going through a lot of traumatic things in her life. And a lot of these things, unfortunately for her, are actually outside of her control. So, something that I talked to her about is, I understand that these stressors are there, but we need to look at how we can give you micro moments throughout the day where you can turn the stress response off. And for her, it's really hard to turn that response off if she feels like things in her life are unresolved. And I know you can relate to this. I'm the same way. If I feel like I'm in a fight with someone, it's taken me a long time to unlearn this, but it was really hard for me to sit in uncertainty. It was really hard for me to to sit in conflict. And I had to retrain myself to find safety, to find calmness in the uncertainty, in the chaos of things that I just didn't have control over. And when I was able to do that, I was able to take myself out of that fight or flight state and put myself into the calm state. And that's what I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on is how can you give yourself these micro moments of calm throughout the day so that the response gets turned on, because you don't want to get stuck in fight or flight. Most of us, we are stuck in the fight or flight stress state for like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day. And that is what is so dangerous for us. It's being stuck in this state. So when we can actually work on and focus on developing an adaptive nervous system, so this is a nervous system that can flexibly, is that a word? We're going to make it a word in this video. Flexibly. It doesn't sound right to me, but we're just going to use it. It's a nervous system that can go and switch from that stress state to the calm state. And a nervous system that does that all day long is a healthy adaptive nervous system. And then essentially what we want to see over time is that we want to see that this nervous system is able to now adapt to stressors, right? It's kind of like you just up level like a video game. Like you're just like, okay, level 1 stressors, check. I don't get stressed by them. Let's go to level 2 stressors, check. Let's keep going. And that's basically the evolution of your life. There's never going to be a level you get to and you're just like, okay, sick, like I've mastered this. No, it's just going to be this evolution that you go through. And it's kind of like a video game. It's fun to see like how many levels can you go up, but that's how you know your nervous system is healthy. It's adapting to these stressors because the same things that used to stress you out, they don't as much anymore. So what I want you to focus on is not the stress itself and the fact that you got stress, but I want you to start focusing on how quickly did you bounce back? You were nervous during that meeting and you got stressed out, but how quickly did you bounce back afterwards? You got into a fight with your partner and that really stressed you out. How quickly did you bounce back? Did you stay in a dysregulated, stressed out state for days, for weeks afterwards because of the fight? Or was it just a few moments and then you were able to kind of bring yourself back to that calm state? That is the most important marker of how well your nervous system is functioning, okay? How quickly you're able to bounce back from the stressor. And don't get me wrong, some stressors, depending on how big the stressor is, depending on your capacity to be able to handle it, some of them are going to take you a while longer to get through, and that's okay. But what ends up happening is over time, you just get better and better and better at handling the stress. And most importantly, what I want to emphasize here is that this is not about toxic positivity. It is not about ignoring your emotions. Healthy nervous system regulation involves you allowing your emotions to move through you. It's not suppressing or numbing your emotion. That's actually unhealthy nervous system regulation. So sometimes we feel like, oh, that happened to me, but whatever, it's okay, I'm good. But you're not actually facing those emotions. One of the most powerful things that I did to start regulating my nervous system more was to take moments to tune in and give my brain and body permission to process and feel some of these really difficult and hard emotions. And that took me a very, very long time to start giving myself space and permission to actually move through in a healthy way, because I was, tried to be optimistic and positive and just does not work out because those emotions, they don't go anywhere. We know that unprocessed emotions, they stay in our body. They literally manifest and can manifest as disease, as physical disease. The amount of patients I've seen in my practice, and although, I help people and support them with their bodies, but sometimes I have to be like, the reason you're like this is because there's so much external stress, or you just haven't processed a lot of your internal emotions. And until we help you do that, it's going to be very difficult for you to feel better. Unhealthy nervous system regulation goals look like constantly chasing calm, constantly trying to be perfect, and then beating yourself up when you're not. I spent years of my life doing that, and I really don't want you to do that. The truth is that you're human. And unless you're going to be a monk who's going to be sitting on top of a mountain and meditating for 10 hours a day and never facing anything that triggers you ever, you are going to have stuff that triggers you. You are going to have stuff that stresses you out. So please don't chase this illusion of constant calm and then make yourself feel bad when you can't feel it. Like if you ask my patients, they'll tell you, wow, like she has calm, good energy. And most of my friends will say that too. Ask my family and they'll tell you I'm a nutcase, okay? Hopefully they don't say it like that. I've worked a lot on myself or my family, but let's be honest, nothing triggers you like a family, especially my mom. My mom will tell you that I'm an absolute nutcase and I got triggered all the time. But I'm a work in progress. I'm human. I am never going to tell you that I am perfect and things don't trigger me. Things trigger me all throughout the day, but I have just gotten so good at bouncing back from them. I've just gotten so good at never holding and carrying any of my emotions. I cry, I let go, I move forward, I apologize, I move forward, I bounce back, and we keep going. And I've seen that transition and difference in myself. And, over the years, I've also gotten a lot more calm. That's something my family will tell you as well, is I'm a completely different person than I was before. And before, a lot of things would trigger me. And now, things like rarely ever trigger me, and they've even noticed and said that shift in myself. So, maybe I'm not an absolute nutcase according to them, but a couple years ago probably would have been. Unhealthy nervous system regulation goals also look like suppressing or even just trying to force yourself to relax. You can't. You have to give yourself space to work through the emotions. You can't get to a place of feeling calm until you feel the pain first. And that was a really hard lesson for me to understand. But wow, now when I feel any sort of anything, I let myself feel, I let myself cry. And how good I feel afterwards is just unreal when I allow the emotions to move through myself. And the most beautiful part about this process and this practice is it just really allows you to develop such a beautiful relationship with yourself. And if you're just like, you want support with this and you want to know, like, how do you actually allow emotions to pass through you? Let me know. I will make a whole video on this because there is a bit of a step by step process that I use in my life, and that I teach my patients as well. So I'm happy to make a video for you on this because when you actually allow yourself space to work through the emotions, you just get to such a more beautiful place on the other side. And it feels so good. And you just feel so much lighter because you're not really carrying anything. So don't always chase that perfection of calm all the time, and make sure that you're not suppressing your emotions or trying to force yourself to relax when your body can't. But when you allow yourself to work through the emotions, the relaxation, the feel good, the calm nervous system naturally turns on. So here's how you know your nervous system regulation work is working and your nervous system is actually starting to get stronger. So number one, you can experience stress without panicking. And I think that's one of the most beautiful transformations of this is when I used to experience stressful things before, I would just go off the deep end. I would get into the state of just like panicking and stress and how am I going to do this? And now when I experience stressful things, I'm just like, cool, I'll figure this out. This happened in my business. Cool. I figured this out. This happened with some friends. Cool. We'll figure this out. I've started to embody such a confident, chill mindset of just like, I can figure this out. As Marie Forleo has said, everything is figure outable. And I think that is the quote everybody needs to live by. You also start to notice that you recover faster after hard days. And you'll notice your ability to be able to bounce back is just so much better. And I see this in my own life. Things that in the past that would have taken me out for days, now I just need sometimes a couple of minutes just to be like, okay, let's move through it, keep moving on. And I always check in to make sure and ask myself, do I need to process some emotions? Is there anything hard coming up? And if it's not, then I'm just like, cool, let's move through it. You also start to notice that you don't need as extreme coping tools anymore. When I was in naturopathic medical school, I used to literally eat an entire big bag of kettle chips. They were my favorite. The whole bag. And I'm not talking about the little mini size, the whole bag. And I would sometimes have like 5 days in a row where I would binge eat that chips bag. And binge eating was my coping strategy. I would also sometimes numb myself out by just watching Netflix. And I've realized now in my life, or I would drink alcohol. I would need like a bender weekend to just go all out and to binge drink. And I would just have these urges to do that as a way to cope with the stressors in my life. And now I don't need as extreme coping strategies anymore. Like there's nothing that I feel like I just can't work through. And I've noticed such a big difference in my relationship with food, especially. And I rarely feel the need to binge eat. And I definitely don't feel the need to like binge drink. And that's been a huge difference I've noticed in my own life. Next, you'll actually start to feel that rest feels restorative. The amount of times patients will tell me, like, I try to rest, but I just feel so wired. Like, my body is so physically tired, but my mind will just not slow down. That is a huge sign your nervous system needs support. And when you actually start regulating yourself more, your rest will be so restorative. Like my sleep is amazing now. I wake up at like 4:35 a.m. and I'm just like ready and excited to start my day just because of how restorative my sleep is. And then lastly, this is the most powerful shift you'll notice is you'll start to have more of a choice in how you respond. If you feel like you suck at being consistent, I'm telling you, discipline and willpower is not your problem, it's your nervous system that is. When your brain is stuck in survival mode, your brain wants what's easy and what is convenient. Versus when your nervous system is regulated, you can actually make a choice in terms of how you show up instead of acting on automatic, right? We're all just on automatic. We're all just on the next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. And it's like, no wonder your brain can't make a choice, can't do any higher order thinking because your brain is just doing survival thinking all day long. And so, good luck trying to make healthy choices for yourself long term. You have to get yourself out of that dysregulated state and into the calm state so that you can make a powerful choice on how you're showing up on a day to day basis. If you're looking for real, tangible strategies to support your nervous system on a day to day basis, please come join my free 30-day nervous system reset. This is where I'm going to email you a new strategy every single day to support your nervous system. These are going to be simple, tangible things that you can do on an everyday basis. You can use the link to join, and it's completely free. A lot of people have been telling me, like, why isn't this paid? And I'm just like, I don't know. So who knows? This might be like the last time I make this be free just because of how many people are questioning me because of the value that I'm getting that it should be paid. So this might be the last time it's going to be free. So definitely sign up, join. I've been sending some emails to get people really warmed up and started with their intentions because we are starting January 30th. So please join. It's going to be so transformative. To end off, what I just want to remind you is that nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken. This isn't anything that you can't fix. I have chronically lived in a dysregulated nervous system state my whole entire life. And I've completely transformed my nervous system state in the span of a few months. I've seen the same difference in my patients that I've worked with one on one. So this is completely doable and possible for you. What I really just want you to take away from today's video is that the key moving forward is not to be in a calm state always. It's to focus on your ability to bounce back. It's to focus on creating a nervous system that is flexible, that is adaptable. Because the more flexible and adaptable your nervous system state is, the better you'll be able to handle the stressors in your life and the stronger that you will be.